Lotus Elite is on the move. Now here we have the only Austin Kimberly in the UK. I'm sure some of you guys remember these. That Vincent there is absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't say no to a ride in this fantastic old Austin coach. Today on Car Traction, you join us on a very chilly Sunday morning, as usual, on our way imminently to a classic car show. Today it will be the MX-5 that will take us over to today's show, which is in Wem. It's the Wem Vehicles of Interest car show. Sports cars, classic cars, supercars, modern cars, every type of car you can think of, maybe a few Japanese cars as well. It will be there. It's a great event actually. My previous videos from this event seem to do quite well, so hopefully you guys will like this year's one as well. We've got a great forecast, the weather is looking very good, which should bring out pretty much everyone who's got something old or maybe a little bit interesting. As I said, we'll be going in this, and there's also a road run through the town. We won't be going on the road run in this because I will be wandering down to the town to capture some cars driving past on the road run, so I'll try to get some of that for you, and let's see what turns up. Well, here we are now in the little MX-5 NA, and another soon-to-be yellow car is this Capri 3000 that's just gone past. 3-litre V6 in those. It is still very, very early in the morning. We have a TR7 with also suitable pop-ups just next to us, and of course we'll be seeing plenty more arrivals. I'll make sure to capture a few, and then we can look at a rapidly filling field of all sorts of classic cars. Now today, I'm giving you guys actually an exclusive video. I'm flying solo today. Dad's down at Gaydon for their Roots Group Day and the Ford collection of cars that are going there. So actually an exclusive Car Traction video today. Now I know at this event, which is a great event, and I'm looking forward to the parade, there is some music which does play over there at some point in the day, which gives me copyright things and annoying things like that. So actually, before most of the stuff arrives, I'm going to try and get most of the walk around done before all that comes on. So we've got this fantastic Consul Capri GT here, which is the first car of the day. White walls, wire wheels, very shiny chrome. This guy has owned it since 1983 according to his little sheet. It's 1963, 78 brake horsepower. That actually would make this little Capri GT quite cool. A pillarless coupe, as you can see there, very nice car. There's another Capri GT as well here in white. There's also a 63 car. This one allegedly has 92 brake horsepower apparently. Looks like it's had quite the restoration, restored in Wem. We are in Wem today, of course, for the Wem Vehicles of Interest car show. There's a bit of an unusual gap before we get to the lightweight Land Rover. These are quite popular now, aren't they? Nice and original these, and then a Series 2 just beyond that, with a nice canvas flap on the back. And then we've got this fantastic little Austin 7 Ruby, first pre-war car of the day here. Older restoration by the looks of things. Very bonny little car. Huge Mercedes here. This is an SL600. It's a V12 biturbo in that. Of what size is that? A 5.5. There you go. 5.5 litre V12 in that car. That is pretty crazy. And there's a Ford Sierra showing the dual overhead cab 2-litre 4-cylinder on the front of that lovely Sierra. Bit of a body kit on that one maybe. Next to this is a big Chevy of some description, like I want to say Monte Carlo, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. What I can say though, it's got an absolutely massive booming V8 in there. That's probably like 7 or 8 litres. We've got an amazing looking intake. It's an Edelbrock intake on it, or Edelbrock. I'm not American, I don't know these things. But an amazing intake system on that V8 engine. That is so cool. I'm not exactly sure what sort of Chevy that is. Well, the badge says a Chevy 350, which is probably the engine this would have had originally, but I think that's bigger than the Chevy 350. That engine in there looks 7 litres at least, really, so yeah, quite a cool one there. If anyone knows the exact model of that, do let me know in the comments below. Lovely Mark 1 Escort here. I think I'll nip under the wire for this one. This looks to be a full rally prepped car. Yeah, not many as the Mark 1s seem to get rallied. You see a lot of the Mark 2s on actual sort of competitive rallies, but the Mark 1s are maybe slightly rarer body shell now, as these were rallied a lot in period, which makes them a little bit rarer, and maybe people aren't sort of ragging them as much. But this one seems to be a fully rally prepared Mark 1 Ford Escort, and there you go. Used and abused, this classic Ford. Just next to that is this very shiny Ford Granada Scorpio. Quite impressive curved glass all around that as well. V6 in that, maybe, I think it might be. And just next to those we have a trio of wonderful little Heinkels. These are all identical apart from this one being a sort of pinky colour, which I've got to say looks great. Got the little engine flap in the back there, desperately trying to vent out some of the air. I can imagine these could get a little bit warm, very small. I think originally a motorbike engine in these Heinkels. This is the sort of thing that the World War II plane manufacturers would have been making after the war. This is probably 50s, maybe 60s in era. They're so cool though, aren't they? You've got to love bubble cars. Just beyond that lovely trio of Heinkels is this VW bay window camper here. The owner of this car is a fairly recent purchase, actually very handily got the little rear flap for the engine open on this one. There it is, of course, the Beetle engine effectively. These are based on the VW Beetle. There you can see this is absolutely immaculate in the back. We've got this very cheerful little fellow here saying hello to us on the walk around. Yeah, that looks like quite an agreeable method of transport for maybe a long weekend car show or something like that. Can't argue against that, really. And just next to that, and also a suitable yellow, is this Porsche Boxster Roadster. Quite popular cars now. Triumph Acclaim here. I think like a British badge version of the old Honda Civics. I think that's really rare, nice and original. I love this. Is a Singer Vogue, this one. Bit of Roots Group goodness here. As I said, there's the Roots Group show at Gaydon, so the Roots Group turnout for today might be a little bit limited. We've got this fantastic Singer Vogue here today in the lovely two-tone livery. I do love the front of these. These are effectively, like, say, based on the same floor pan as the likes of the Humber Scepter and the Hillman Super Minx. They just had different fronts for Humber, Singer and Hillman, which are all members of the Roots Group Association, and that looks so nice, doesn't it? Very, very sharp classic saloon. Here's this 1969 Morris Minor 82,000 miles, 5 previous owners. I read on the information sheet for this one. Looks very original, this car. I've got some Ross style wheels on it, which you may recognise from the likes of some of the slightly later MGBs. Of course, MG, I think, was a member of the BMC range, which of course Morris is as well, which is probably a sort of fairly suitable period mod. I'm sure people were putting Ross styles on these in period. Yeah, that looks quite sharp on those, I think. Got a Ford Capri here as well. I've seen this car quite a few times before, maybe like a Mark II or something, I'd guess. Looks quietly modified. Perhaps how it would have been modified in period. Next to that is an E30 BMW, and us in the Mark 1 MX-5 with, of course, the compulsory lights left up, and another pop-up headlight car very appropriately parked next to us, the Triumph TR7. But as you can see, this is only a small sample of what will be here today. I just want to make sure to try and get you guys some of the walk around just before some of the copyrighted music might disrupt some of the filming. And then look at this, got a fantastic DAF coming in now. You do usually get a few classic lorries coming to these events along with the classic cars. I suppose this one counts as a modern classic, a Rover 200 series, I think. And look at this, old Austin Cambridge, mid-50s. That's so nice, that. Absolutely mint Austin Cambridge there. Look at this Atkinson rolling in here. So impressive with the curved glass windows on those Atkinsons. Really cool classic truck. These guys seem to arrive in groups, don't they? Got this Volvo here, with this on the back. I've seen this truck before with a range of interesting things on the back, but that's a new one. I think that deserves a bit more investigation later on. Look at that Austin Cambridge. What a lovely 50s British saloon that is. These are exactly the sort of classic cars I love. Classic British cars from the 50s just really do it for me. That's a lovely, lovely classic saloon. Next to Roland is this pair. Following the MGC Roadster is this fantastic little Messerschmitt. Making a very distinctive sound, one could say. That is great, that, isn't it? I'm sure some of you guys remember these. An Austin 1300 GT. Very shiny little Morris Mini Cooper S as well. That is lovely, that. Seen a lot of classic British cars out and about today, which is great to see. A lot of saloons, which are some of the cars that usually are a bit rare. They don't tend to survive as well. Of course, the family saloons just got used and abused really in period. No one really took much care of them. Just like this 8016 1300 GT here. It's great to see these out and about today. And look at that, a Phase 1 standard Vanguard. As I said before, I'd love to see the 50s British saloons that didn't survive, and that has certainly got to be one of them. Plenty classic Fords turning up to today's classic car show. That's a very modified sounding 100E. That sounds great, that actually. I'll have a little look around this row now. This is a suitably modified looking Nissan Stager here. So a sort of fast Nissan estate car here. These get very modified frequently. This had its original automatic gearbox in it. You can see the square plates. This originally would have been a Japanese market car that's been since imported at some time in its life, so that's probably quite a rarity now. And look at this fantastic Triumph 2.5 PI with a period modding. So this has had maybe a little bit of a body kit, maybe a bit of an engine tuning. I love this little air intake here, injection. So these were available as the Triumph 2000 with the 2 litre, which is a non-injected unit straight 6, and then you had the 2.5, which is often seen as an injected straight 6 iteration of the Triumph 6 engine that went into GT6s, Vitesses and 2000s and 2.5s like this one. But this one's got some really cool sort of period S mods, bit of a body kit, maybe a little bit wider arches, great looking Wolf Race wheels, I think those are. That's actually a really cool car because that's what those would have looked like in period. Very cool Triumph 2.5 there. There's a Rover here, maybe a 200 series I think. And look at this, I just love this car. Fantastic old Austin Cambridge this, in the lovely white. Looks to be an older restoration. Pair of Lucas lamps on the front still with their original covers. That's so nice, that. The Austin emblem. I'm sure some of you guys remember these in period. Had the windows open so we can see the immaculate interior of this. It's a floor change. I would have thought these might be column change actually, but no, floor change on this Austin Cambridge. Got an extra tacho, maybe a modified fuel gauge, but the rest of it's sort of original inside. Looks to have been retrimmed at some point in its life, but it's so nice, that. Lovely, lovely classic British saloon. That's one of my favourites so far today because those just did not survive at all. Lovely, lovely Austin Cambridge there. Got a tax disc from 1956, so maybe that's the date of this car. And they've got a pairing of frog eyes, or basically the Mark 1 Austin Healey sprites. Got this very original looking example in blue here. A bit more of a modified one here with the mini light, or at least mini light style wheels on this one. There's a great looking little cars, aren't they? Lovely pair there. MGC Roadster. This car has had quite the restoration, which I think came at quite a cost, but it was quite a while ago, so it sort of mellowed nicely. It's still in absolutely mint condition. 3 litre BMC C Series straight 6 as opposed to the 1.8 litre B Series MGB engine. 150 plus brake horsepower apparently. There's only 52 of these MGCs on the UK roads. This one is from 1968. Very nice one there. And look at this fantastic little Messerschmitt. I was talking about the Heinkels. Messerschmitt also made planes for the German war effort in World War II, and once they were banned from doing that, they decided to make some of these. which is just great, isn't it? Some of these were available as two-seaters, I think, sort of sitting behind. This looks to just have the one seat. I don't know too much about these Messerschmitts. It's got a little two-stroke, maybe like an evolution of a motorbike engine in the back there, lifts up under that flap in a similar way to the Heinkels we just saw. So cool, that, isn't it? Got the gorgeous little speedo there. Look at that. That is great, that. Annoyingly, some copyrighted music has just started, so I'm going to have to keep talking, but when you've got such a variety of classic cars here, that shouldn't be too hard, hopefully. And now this is a real rarity. This is an Austin 1300 GT, probably the most sportiest and fastest and highest spec of the 8016 Austin and Morris cars. This is the 1300, so it's probably one of the largest evolutions of the BMC A-Series engine in these, probably a 1275 or a 1304 or something like that, but quite big for the original A-Series design. Of course, on the 8016 platform, this is a very rare variant nowadays. Really nice and original though. That's a fantastic little 8016 Austin 1300 GT. And just beyond that is this fantastic little Mini here. This is a Mark 1 actually when I look at it, because we look around the back and we see the small rear lights which indicate this is a Mark 1 Mini, making it one of the more desirable variants. It's got the lovely little boot propped open with that lovely wicker basket. Yeah, look at that. Such a lovely original car. This is a Morris, this one. So this was sold as the Austin 7 originally, and then BMC was Austin and Morris at the time, so these were sold under the Morris badge and the Austin badge. Basically the same car, but some people had brand loyalty. They wouldn't buy Morris, or they wouldn't buy an Austin, or they'd only buy an Austin or only buy a Morris. So that's the reason for the sort of badge engineering of these early Minis like this. Some of the later Minis were eventually sold as Rovers as well. Just a bit of badge engineering really. That's such a lovely car. Got some nice period accessories for the Selma car alarm and something Welsh there. It's such a beautifully original car. Sliding windows, being a Mark 1 as well. Such a beautiful original car. It's been restored at some point in his life, I'm sure of it, showing 40,000 miles. That is absolutely just lovely, that car. Next to that, MG BGT V8, 3.5 litre Rover V8. This is basically the car that really came after the MGC, the big engine variant of the MGB. That looks really sharp on those black Mini Light style wheels at least. There's a Volkswagen Polo C, this one, so this is the booted version of the Volkswagen Polo. Some might mistake this for the Jetta, because you had the Volkswagen Golf and the booted version was the Jetta, but this is a Polo, so it's the smaller VW at the time, but it's a booted Polo, so that's probably actually loads rarer than a Jetta. So a Polo C, that one is still with its original wheel trims. I'm sure some of you guys remember these, but how well is that car preserved? I'm sure so many of those have been scrapped over the years. It's great to see one in such original unmolested condition. Very sharp looking Triumph Dolomite here. It doesn't seem to be a Sprint, although we do have some Sprint alloy wheels on it. So it looks like it's perhaps been modified up to the spec of a Sprint, but this probably originally was like an 1850 or something, so not the fastest of all of them. But yeah, it looks really sharp on those Sprint alloy wheels, and of course the best colour for any car, classic or modern, in yellow. Just beyond the Citroen Saxo VTR is this fantastic Phase 1 Standard Vanguard. I've seen this car a couple of times, only really at this show. If I remember correctly, the owners have had this car for sort of 40 plus years, certainly a fair ownership for this one. Original 3-speed column change. We actually had a Phase 1 Standard Vanguard which wasn't in quite as good nick as this one a few years ago. That's just fantastic looking car, that. So nice and original there. Hello sir, I presume this is your lovely old Standard. Am I right in saying you've had this a while? Because I think we had a chat here a couple of years ago.
I've had it over 40 years.
Oh right, so what year did you get it then?
What year? I can't honestly remember.
Oh, okay, well that's a fair ownership then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see it out again.
Last year there was a bit of controversy because I put the notice on the front as it was a 1A. It's actually a Phase 1, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it's the grille, isn't it? Yes, I remember that, yes. Yeah, it's great to see that out. I love the sort of 50s saloons that just no one sort of really cared for at the time. It's so great to see them out and about. Yeah, great to see the Standard Vanguard out and about. And just next to that is a similar era of car. This is yours as well, is it? A Sunbeam Talbot 90, this one. Yeah, these are very cool. Column change as well, both of these. That's a lovely car, that. How long have you had this one then?
I suppose it's got to be about 30 years.
Oh, right. So has this been your
It's
two...
only been restored since 2013.
Oh, right. So this has been your two-car garage for a while then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good selection. Sunbeam Talbot 90. This fantastic standard Vanguard. The interior's nice and original in this. Yeah, we had one of these a couple of years ago, but it wasn't as nice as this one. I think ours might have been a 1A.
Yes.
Because aren't the grills really hard to
Yes,
find
it
for the
is.
ones?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic to see those pair out and about. Moving on, we have this Volvo here. This is an interesting one, isn't it? This is a booted car, which is quite rare. Looks, I'm not sure what engine it is, maybe a 4-cylinder. These might have been available as a 5-cylinder, some of these. But yeah, that's a very rare variant of a Volvo there. Just next to that is a bit more classic Ford content. This is a 100E shape of Ford, which looks somewhat modified, perhaps with a swapped engine, or at least an engine that is very modified indeed. Very sharp in its two-tone livery, modified interior as well. That's a cool looking little 100E that, isn't it? Yeah. An MGB Roadster here. Now this is an interesting car because this is a Mark 1 MGB Roadster. If we come around here and look at the door handles, this car has the pull door handles, which indicates that this is one of the first MGBs ever made, really, which is actually really rare. There's another almost identical blue MGB Roadster that goes around, so that's probably like 65 or some, 64, which has an attached disc. So that's actually a lot rarer a car than it initially looks. I think MGB Roadster, see loads of them any car show you go to, but that's actually a really rare Mark 1 pull door handle MGB Roadster there. So a really, really early car there, and looks absolutely fantastic in the growing sunshine today. BMW E46 Estate. And another Triumph Acclaim. We saw the original example before. This looks to be another fairly original car in blue. Haven't seen an Acclaim in blue before, so that's quite interesting. Another E30 Cabriolet, this one in red. A Mark III Toyota MR2. Wow, there's plenty of cars rolling in now. Maybe a bit of pre-war goodness there. This appears to be a sort of shadow of a Ford Model A pickup. I know a lot of these do have replacement bodies, these sort of hot rods, but that looks to be, maybe at one point in its life it was a Ford Model A, obviously very modified, probably with a huge V8 engine and lowered and all sorts. Most mine 1,000 here, C-Reg, so 66, 67, something like that. That's a lovely little car, that, isn't it? Austin 7 Box Saloon. That looks very nice, actually, yeah. Love that livery. Ford Model A Tourer, 4-seat Tourer. I remember seeing this car at the Anything Goes car show in Malpas, which is a similar event to this, just any enthusiast cars were able to come. But I was quite interested how this is a 4-door Tourer, but it only has 2 doors, and they're absolutely tiny doors, so a bit of a unusual body, let's say, on this Ford Model A Roadster. All sorts of enthusiast cars arriving now. Got the Rover P5B, the Maserati, and the Nissan GTR. I think I've got a new favourite car of the day now, this fantastic old Lanchester. I'm not exactly sure what model this is, but look at that. It's got a pre-selector gearbox, which is very nice to use, I'm sure. Got the lovely old wooden interior, the wooden dash at least, the lovely old dials. That is a lovely place to be, so original. You can tell I really love these 50s cars, don't you? It's just, the shape is just beautiful. While there's no one really here, I can step back and just look at that. It's like a Daimler Conquest Century, I think, but this is a Lanchester, so an even rarer car, really. You can see Lanchester on the hubcaps down there. Yeah, all I can say about this car, I don't really know much of it. Does it have a 6-cylinder? Does it have a 4-cylinder? I just love the look of it. It's just, the shape is gorgeous. This is on an A-Reg, which is actually very rare because I think the A-Regs were only issued for like half a year or something. Of course, they used to have just the 3 letters, and then they moved to the 3 letters, 3 numbers, and then A, B, C, D, and so on. So to have one on an A is actually quite rare. So that's like 64 or something, I think, being on an A. That's just a beautiful car. Got all the original fittings, the Lucas reflectors on there as well, there's brake lights. I really do love this car, favourite car of the day. really so far. A lot of Lanchesters actually have the little very nice bonnet release on there. This one doesn't seem to have that. We've had the likes of Lanchester LD10s in the past. This is a little bit later. I want to say it's 50s actually, but it might be 60s. It certainly looks 50s, but having an A-reg would indicate it is 60s maybe. That just looks fantastic though, doesn't it? Probably my new favourite car of the day there. Yeah, really love that. Next to that is a slightly later, but also suitably upper class, you could say, saloon. This is a Rover P5B, this one. 3.5 litre Rover V8 in them. I'm sorry I have to keep yapping away about these old cars because of really annoying copyrighted music, but yeah. This one seems to have like a Webasto roof put in it as well, so you can enjoy the sunshine in this one. The low roofline sports saloon variants of the Rover P5B. All of these had automatic gearboxes. Got this Maserati here, I'm sure that's quite a nice sounding car, as is this Nissan R33 generation Skyline, the GTR, so I think that makes it all-wheel drive, and has an inline 6-cylinder engine which is incredibly tunable, and this one does look somewhat tuned. I think it's Midnight Purple, this colour is called. Now here is a car I know nothing about. This is badged up as an Austin Kimberly, and it's got an Australia badge in it, so perhaps an Australian market Austin saloon. But what? I really do not know the story of this car. I like to know I'm fairly decent at sort of identifying cars, but an Austin Kimberly. I know a lot of you guys watching are actually from Australia and New Zealand over that way, but this is a really unusual Austin saloon. Look at the wheel trims on it as well. It says British Leyland on the wheel trims. So it's a British Leyland era Austin. K-reg is like 71, I think. But Austin Kimberly, it says X6 Mark II on it. That's such a rare car. I was not expecting to see anything like this today. I've just never seen anything like it. It's not like it's a badged up variant of any British market Austin. This is a sort of totally different Australian market car that has no relation to a UK market Austin of the period. That is a fascinating car. I really do not know the story of that one. If anyone does, please let me know, because I've never seen anything like that before. Very smart Series 2 Jaguar XJC rolling in now. That's a Daimler actually, sorry, so a Daimler badge, slightly more market perhaps variant of the Series 2 Jaguar XJC. So it's a Daimler 2-door. Yeah, that's quite a sharp looking car, looks a little bit loaded. You don't see many of these being modified, but actually I quite like the look of that one in a way. And just next to that coming in is a Mark 1, I think, Austin Healey. It's a Mark 1, it has no winding windows, which actually preserves the shape around the cockpit a lot better. Some of these later Austin Healey's, like the Mark 2s and the Mark 3s that aren't quite as early as this car, they have winding up windows, which sort of takes away that lovely chrome strip that lines the cabin on these. But this being a Mark 1, or effectively a very early Austin Healey, means that that shape around the cockpit area is actually preserved from the sort of earlier Austin Healey frog eyes. As you can see, we've still got this lovely chrome strip going around here and no wind-up windows, but as I said, the later cars, they had much bigger sort of blocks around here with wind-up windows, which I don't think look as nice personally. So while you do have to sacrifice by not having winding up windows, as you can see actually through the door card there, I think it looks so much nicer having that shape around on the likes of the 106s that came before, and these, the very first of the Austin Healey 3000s. So that's actually a really lovely car, that I do like that. Just next to that fantastic Healey is this Porsche 911, a 911 SC this one. It's a sort of mid-range spec really, but it's still got the wonderful flat 6 soundtrack coming from the back there. Very cool. Got the Riley RM here, seen this car plenty of times before. And an Audi S8 this one, so a huge Audi with a huge engine to suit it. And look at this. This is a Mini. It's a Mini Marcos, that's it. We saw one of these at the CSCC race meeting at Alton Park, and it's like a sort of streamlined racer body based on a Mini chassis. I remember seeing a Mini Marcos flying around Alton Park at the CSCC meeting at Alton Park, and that was one of these. This one doesn't look quite as extremely race prepared as that one, but that's a super cool little car. Really love the look of that. Very cool Mini Marcos, and just behind is the car it's based on, a typical Mini saloon. Just did a little bit of research regarding this Austin Kimberly. So this is an Australian market car based on the Austin 1800 or ADO 17 floor pan. But I've just never ever seen something like this. I'm sorry if I'm spending too long on one car, but it's got a handy bit of information. Yes, they're trying to import the ADO 17, which is the Austin 1800. So it's based on the Wolseley 6, so this has got a 6-cylinder on it. So yeah, this is the ADO 17 Wolseley 6, but rebodied as an Austin Kimberly, which they're all under British Leyland, so they all did that, rebodying each other's cars. But also known as the X6, the Tasman, produced for 2 years, just over 12,000 built. This car was purchased in Adelaide. This only example in the UK. I'm not surprised because I've never seen an Austin Kimberly before. Fascinating car, that. Just next to the Mini Marcos is this very nice original little Mini here. This is probably a mid-70s sort of car, and this is the car basically that tuned up Mini Marcos Racer is based on. It's still got an A series, probably a 1275, and it's on Revolution wheels actually. But I remember seeing one of those going around Alton Park at the CSCC Classic Sports Car Club meeting there, and it was absolutely flying. They're great little racers, those Mini Marcoses. Just next to that is this. Oh, I should know what this is. Yeah, it's a Ford Thunderbird, I think. But it's obviously a much more modern variant of the Ford Thunderbird. Imported from America. It's an 04, this one. 50th anniversary edition of the Ford Thunderbird. So if you'll look at the back of this car, and we might do later, you'll see the distinctive rounded rear lights of the original Ford Thunderbirds, which was a styling feature that was carried on into these 50th anniversary edition cars. That's quite an interesting one. Mark II Ford Cortina here. Haven't seen many Cortinas actually yet today. I'm sure we will as the day progresses. This is a Mark II Fiesta. Just next to that is this fantastic MGC Roadster. No, not a GT, the second MGC of the day. This has also got the BMC C-Series straight 6 in it. It's a Roadster with a lovely looking hardtop on it, which really helps with the sort of classic racer look of this MGC. That's so cool, that. Great round doors, that's exactly how I'd have one of those. This car has a fairly vocal exhaust, let's say, and it does sound fantastic. Yeah, the 3-litre straight 6 is quite vocal on this MGC, an MGTF here as well. We're of course focusing on the older cars today, as that is what we always do here on Car Traction. Quite a selection of MGB Roadsters in here, a couple of red ones, a couple of maroon ones. You can see some of the later MGBs being on these Ross-style wheels. We saw some of those Ross-style wheels on the likes of a Morris Minor 1000 earlier. So they must have been taken off perhaps an MGB and put onto a Morris 1000. This is a very nice and quite early actually MGB GT. It's got the earlier style of sprung steering wheel on it. I think these were introduced in '66, the GTs, so it's probably sort of late 60s or very early 70s. There's a lovely RAC badge on it, one of the nice enamel badges. I think Dad has one of those. I don't think he's had it on anything though. Yeah, that's very cool. The Roadster also on the Ross styles, the Peugeot 1.9 GTI here. Just next to another 1.9 GTI, both the larger variants of the 4-cylinders available. These little sporty French hatchbacks. That's great that. We're back at this unofficial little pre-war section, which is interrupted by the Minor. And there's a Volkswagen Golf GTI and a fantastic looking little Morris Minor Traveller. This is quite an early car, having the split screen at the front. That's a very nice original Morris Minor, that one. This is an unusual car on the end here. This is a very early Lotus Europa, predictably from 1969, perhaps going off the tax disc on it. But that's just so low, and such a rare classic Lotus there, just next to the Capri GT Ford, complete with an old Triumph motorcycle on the back. Very cool setup there. Very smart Mini pickup V-Reg, so from 79 or 1980, followed up by another Mini and a Porsche 911. XR3 Ford Escort, followed up by a bit more ADO 16 goodness. This is an Austin 1300, there you go, so 1300 A series in that one. Very sharp Triumph Stag here with a vinyl hardtop on it, haven't seen that before. Manual 4-speed overdrive, there's the 3-litre V8, and the battery just tucked under the wing there actually. That looks great, that, doesn't it? A Mark II, which is the hard shoulder's best friend apparently, although most UK motorways for some very dim reason don't seem to have a what am I saying? They don't seem to have a hard shoulder anymore, so that's a bit dumb, but oh well. So that's why we can't take old cars on motorways that much anymore. Oh, the MX-5 is new enough. Always feels cheating a little bit, but it's an enthusiast show, and we do have older stuff at home. It's just that Mum only drives the MX-5s. There's that absolutely divine old Lanchester. Really love that. Oh, a bit of old newspaper in the back as well. I'm sure Dad would approve of that one, even though he is not here today. I'm sure he'd be pretty amazed by the Austin Kimberly as well. That's a real rarity. This is a 991, I think, Porsche 911 Carrera, and a Ford Escort XR3. Continue along here, bit of 8016 goodness now. This is a little Austin 1300. You also have the 1100, so it's the slightly larger iteration of the A series BMC engine in this 8016 Austin. We saw a Morris badge for one of these quite recently, so these were sold both as Austins and Morrises. Once again, badge engineering, people seem to have preferences back then. Series 2 Land Rover, very original paint job. Here's the 1979 or 80, I think, Mini pickup. British Leyland era of Mini. Nice RAC badge on the front of that one as well. That's actually really nice, original one. A great looking Mini here, plenty of spot lamps as well. Citroen 2CV6. Oh, this copyrighted music is starting to annoy me now. Time to keep yapping about cars. X350 Jaguar XJ. Just because YouTube sometimes has a go at me for unintentionally having copyrighted music. So there's an MGB Roadster here as well. I think I'll just go around the back of these actually with the way my mic is pointing. Triumph Herald 1360 here. 1300cc engine, 60 brake horsepower. Out of this, the slightly later variant of the Triumph Herald. You had the 1250, which is a 1200 engine and 50 brake horsepower. So you can see how these Triumph Heralds were named. Here's this fantastic old Saab from 1960. This is a Saab 96 and it's got a two-stroke in it. 3-cylinder two-stroke in these. It's just fantastic, that, isn't it? B-Road, so 64 actually, sorry, this one is. That's just great. I really, really love these two-stroke Saabs. It actually sounded so cool on the way in, I've got to say. One of the best sounding cars of here today. I think these two-strokes sound so cool. 4-speed with freewheel. Looks like it's been around a fair bit, this car. Just fantastic. Nice early tin front, you could say, on these cars. Yeah, that's just such a beautiful original car, actually. Looks to be original paint since 1964. That is just an absolutely lovely Saab 96. Here's a Hillman Imp with the Cibier lamps on it. I'll go around the back again to avoid the music, maybe YouTube having a go at me for that. An Imp Super. A Lucas rear mounted spot lamp on that one as well. An MGA. That's a sharp looking car, isn't it? Yeah, nice painted wires. BMW Z4. Great looking little Austin A30. I think this one is the small back windows to the 8. Is it? Oh, thanks. A37. Ah, right. Quite an early one then, being a 7. It's a 54. 54. Oh, right.
The first after the IS3s.
Yes, because that was the first ones.
The IS3 was the first one. This is an I2S4.
Oh, I see. So just after the AS3. Yeah. I presume you're going to like that Cambridge over there then.
Sorry?
There's a lovely old Cambridge over there.
Is it?
Yes, a really lovely one.
Anything Austin I like, even the commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the sort of 50s saloons. We've got a standard 8 at home, which is like the competitor to this, if you think about it.
Yes, that's right.
Which is also 803cc.
That gentleman there, that's my friend. If you do talk to him, ask him how long he's owned that car.
This Morris Minor then? Oh, right.
Steve, tell this gentleman how long you've owned the car. 49 years I've had that.
49 years you've had this Morris Minor then?
First car.
So, first, what year is this then?
1958.
Oh, right. That's fantastic then.
74, 1974.
Wow, has it been restored any time or?
I've done all the work on it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it looks fantastic out and about today. You get to many shows in it?
Yeah. We get to probably 25 during the year.
Oh yeah, that's good going. Yeah, I like these early thousands because some people say the later thousands are sort of slightly thinner metal, but this is the sort of slightly earlier thousand, and I prefer the smaller rear lights on these as well.
That's right, yeah. What it was reclaimed steel later on. this steel was only used once.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virgin steel.
Oh, yeah. I'd always trust the slightly earlier ones. Yeah, I'd maybe look into these in a bit, because I'm 16 now. I want a sort of usable first classic.
Right.
So I might look into a sort of 50s minor, because we've got a standard 8, as I was just saying to the gentleman with this Austin A40. But it's getting a little bit crusty, unfortunately. And these, of course, got rack and pinion, haven't they? So
That's right, yeah.
Is it quite nice to drive, I presume?
Yeah, it's pretty nice, yeah. And it'll keep up, you know, it'll do 50 miles an hour on the motorway.
Yes, I'm sure, yeah.
You know, just keep in the slow lane and...
Yeah. Just take it at your own pace.
That's it, well, you don't push it too much because it's 66 years old.
No. Yeah, that's great, that. Thanks for a little insight. So the owner of this car has had it for quite a time. 1974 he got this as his first car. It's Morris Minor next to the fantastic little Austin A40, which is also quite an early car. And here is a Peugeot 205 Cabriolet, Pininfarina design, believe it or not. That's actually a real rarity as well. This is a Peugeot 205 CJ. I did actually do a video just about the 205s and their history with the help of a 205 Peugeot brochure, so make sure to check that one out. And I think I do mention these rare convertibles, the CJ 205. Modified Vauxhall Vectra next to an R32 Golf, the V6 in those, and Mark IV Golf. MGB GT, seeing quite a few of those today. Back to the norm car shows. Series 4, Sunbeam Alpine here. Perhaps another Vauxhall Vectra, I think this one is. Look at this, a fantastically original Ford Consul Classic, I think this one is. I think it's the Consul Classic, which is the 4-door. We saw a couple of Capri GTs earlier, which was the pillarless coupe with just the 2 doors, but this has got the 4-door, so it's like the more family saloon version from the Ford Motor Company of the Consul sort of range. So it's the Consul Classic, this one, I think. That's a very nice original car. I don't know whether you can see, but the paint on that is just so nice and original. Certainly an older restoration, or it's certainly been in that paint for a while. That just looks great. That's how they would have been seen in their time. Fantastic old console there. A Triumph Dolomite Sprint here, looking very nice on the Sprint alloy wheels. A Porsche 991 convertible. A great looking long wheelbase Series 2 Land Rover. Couple of new arrivals here. It's an Escort RS 2000 Ford here, quite a late one. Looks very, very clean though. 5-speed, yeah. Very original car there. Oh, he's come committed, hasn't he, with his very special board of information. This 1996, 18,500 miles. That's not bad going, is it? Manual gearbox, 2 owners. There's a Ford Focus RS there as well. And a very shiny Morgan, this one, a 4.4, this one. Look at that, a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit over there as well. And I want to see this. Look at that. Fantastic old Austin coach. That is stunning. That is a beautiful old coach. Not too big. That is gorgeous. Maybe a 6-cylinder engine in that being an Austin. That is a stunning old bus. Just beyond another Consul Capri. That's the one with the Triumph on the back. It's this fantastic little Lotus Elite, the fixed head coupe. Engine out, the little twin cam 4-cylinder with open intakes on those Weber carbs. I'm sure that makes quite a nice sound, being a classic 4-cylinder with a twin cam. Ford Capri, very clean. Here's the Market Drayton Mini Club, I think, so all sorts of variants. A couple of these, I think these are like auto test style of cars, these minis. Auto testing, if you search it up on YouTube, it's absolutely insane skill required to drive these things and sort of reverse handbrake turns around cones. There's a few more conventional mini saloons and a mini estates. That's quite a cool variant. Triumph Stag is next to roll in, followed by a rally prepared Mitsubishi Evo. Oh, the Stag does make a nice burble when it just came past me. I think now we'll have a little look around some of these trucks, both big and small. Right, the little one, oh, I'm going to get crashed into, I'll get out of the way. All I can really do with these trucks, I do know a little bit about them, but not as much as cars. I can just read the huge letters on the outside of them. So that is a Volvo, I can tell you, with confidence. Got a load of Hella spot lamps on that. Bit of reversing on that Mercedes, oh, it's a Volvo actually, so a Volvo little ride-on truck there. Yeah, we've got a pair of these Volvos, a couple more modern ones just over there. Of course, we're focusing on the slightly older ones out and about here today at the Wem Vehicles of Interest show. I spy an old DAF. You can probably hear that ride-on truck in the background. I'm being chased down. I need to pick up the pace. It's a DAF, this one. 2800 turbo. I'm just reading off the front with these, to be honest. This is an Atkinson here. Sort of 1980s era Atkinson and a much older Atkinson. Those look stunning with the curved glass, don't they? Fantastic, and I love this old Austin coach. That is just absolutely beautiful. A lot of criticism comes with buses is that they're often too big, but that's just a perfect size, that Austin coach. That's just absolutely gorgeous. Plaxton body, I think this one is. That is absolutely fantastic old coach, that. Really love the look of that next to a more modern Volvo truck. I wouldn't say no to a ride in this fantastic old Austin coach. Now here's an MGB Roadster, believe it or not. No, this is not a GT. This is a Roadster, which would usually be convertible, which has an aftermarket hardtop, but that's not like the usual, is it Pininfarina designed GT? So that's actually a really rare period mod, which I've got to say looks quite cool. It's like the Triumph Stag hardtops, really, on this rubber bumper MGB Roadster. That's actually a really cool hardtop on that. Very rare period mod as well. Just a bit of a unique take on a very common classic sports car. Look at this fantastic old Cadillac, I think, quite an early one from 1949. Dynaflow, look at that. Cadillac Dynaflow from 1949. How nice is that? Gorgeous styling on those, isn't it? Absolutely huge as well. And yet I didn't hear it when it passed. The engine was that nice and quiet. Followed up by another Mini. So many classic Minis today. First Morris Minor pickup of the day. Seen several Morris 1000 saloons and a couple of Travellers. But look at this. Hodnett is quite a local town to us, and they've got this fantastic little Honda Cub in the back here of this fantastic Morris Minor 1000 pickup. I suppose you couldn't really have much of a bigger bike, quite a tight fit in there. That's the perfect size really for this gorgeous little Morris Minor pickup. Such a lovely, lovely clean pickup that is. These would have been used and abused quite a lot in period, so it's great to see one in such lovely condition as this one is. Here's yet another lovely little Mini, another Rover 200 series car. Quite a few of those there today actually. Didn't think there are that many of those around. There are plenty of these Triumph Stags around. That's a manual car, that one. Manual 4-speed overdrive, probably the best spec in my opinion for one of those. Fantastic looking sort of Dakar rally spec Mitsubishi Evo with this sort of air snorkel. That might be for going through water actually. Rally cars, you can always tell they're rally cars because they have two seats, one for the driver and one for the co-pilot. And this is so cool. I want to say this is a Cadillac. It's got the badges sort of Super and Dynaflow. It's from 49. Handily, a lot of these American cars have registrations. I think it's a Cadillac, this one. Just a glorious, glorious looking car, that. Look at how beautifully moulded these rear lights are. Just absolutely gorgeous, that. You gotta love the look of that. Very nice late 40s American design. If you think about it, it was miles ahead of what us in Britain were producing in the late 40s. Manual gearbox as well. Very interesting manual column change. Quite the old tractor there. That looks like quite a bit of kit, doesn't it? And just next to that is another lovely old Mini. Just beyond the fantastic Minor pickup is a VW Beetle in white, Silver Spirit Rolls Royce, Porsche 914. Those are available both as a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder. This looks to be a 4-cylinder car, this one. Little Austin 7-box saloon, probably late 20s, having a chrome rad as opposed to the slightly later Ruby. Both of course having the 747cc Austin side valve 4-cylinder engine. Very cool little MG midget here, rubber bumpers in white, really pops in white actually. Peugeot 205 GR, one of the more common cars in its day, but now, apart from France, probably just none of those around at all. I think, yes, this is a Volkswagen Polo C. I've seen this car once before, I think, which is actually a really rare variant. Polo CL, sorry, there you go. So it's like an estate-ish sort of station wagon version of the Volkswagen Polo platform. So that's actually a really rare car. Great to see it original as well. Triumph Stag, this could be a 4-speed manual overdrive or 3-speed auto. A recessed grille MGB GT and a Porsche 928 next to another pair of more modern Porsches. Just beyond the more modern Porsches, this fantastic late 40s MG Tourer. Now this is an interesting one because this is a YT. This one is one of only 30 in the UK, 158 worldwide. You see the likes of the TDs and TF MG Tourers quite often, but this is like the MG YB Saloon, but with the roof cut off, which is a sort of just post-war MG Saloon. If you compare this sort of thing to that Cadillac, I think it is, we saw earlier, it's just miles ahead in America really, isn't it? But then again, I do really like this, the typical MG shape of dash on these as well. But yeah, this is actually a really rare variant, being a 4-seater convertible. There's quite a few of the 2-seater like the TDs around, but a YT, never seen one of these before. That's actually a really, really cool 4-seater classic car that you can take the roof off. I really like that one. And look at that MGA done up as a bit of a classic racer. Very, very cool one there. And there's a very early Land Rover here, one of the early ones with the mesh all across the grille. The earliest of these, quite well known, being Huey 166, and this looks a comparably early one, maybe sort of late 40s in date, certainly one of the first Land Rovers. Here, perhaps a slightly later, but still very early Series 1 Land Rover. It's 54, this one actually, just a little look at the information. So still early Land Rover being a 54. Series 1 still quite early compared to Series 2 and Series 3, but this is a very, very early Series 1, having the full mesh across the front of it. So that's probably late 40s, I'd guess, that one. Certainly one of the first ones, making it very rare indeed. Here's the inline 4, matched up to a single Weber carburettor on this 1954 example, which looks like it has been through quite the restoration, you could say. That's looking very, very good today. Ford Consul Classic here, the 4-door variant. We saw quite an original one of these earlier. A couple of Capri GTs as well. Got a personalised pillow or cushion for the interior. That's good, isn't it? Only made for 2 years, 1961 to 62, and then the Consul Capri version was made until 63, until when it was replaced by the Mark 1 Cortinas. That's an interesting bit of history. Part of these Consul Classics got a more modern BMW M2, the 991 generation Porsche, but of course they were focusing on the old cars. Got this MGB Roadster with a very cool aftermarket hardtop, really unique take on the MGB sort of GT body if you think about it. MGTF here, got this fantastic little Morris Minor 1000, a Series 2 with the split window. So this might have the 948cc, I think. Being a Series 2, I think it's the 948cc A series in this one, as opposed to the 1098 in the Morris 1000. So it's actually quite an early car, that one. I do like that. And that's a fantastic looking little car. This is a Lotus Elite, this. Absolutely glorious, glorious body. A lot of these you do see getting raced, but it's great to see an original one here. Such a rare car, these as well. Really, really love that. Lucas P700s on the front. You see those on a lot of sort of 50s, 60s sports cars. That just looks fantastic there. What a beautiful shape that is. That is certainly a contender for one of my favourites of the show today. Really, really love that Lotus Elite. It's probably one of my favourite cars here. Lotus twin cam 4-cylinder up front. Really, really love that. It's Moggy Mine 1000, so this will have the 1098 A series in it. Nissan Figaro, Nissan micro based, sort of interesting body, I suppose you could say, retro styling on the Nissan Micra. Austin Allegro, quite a cool one in orange there as well. MGB GT, this one sounded quite fruity on the way, and quite a vocal B series 1.8 in that one. Mazda MX-5 Mark IV, Aston DB11, but what I'm interested in is this fantastic old Morris Oxford, a Morris Oxford MO this one is, probably mid-50s in era to guess. Glorious 50s family saloon, you can tell I like these, can't you? The sort of 1950s, really curvy, stylish saloons, that is so nice. Got the Y-Pack lamps, super original this one. Gotta say the paint on it looks lovely. It looks to be an older restoration, maybe in the sort of 1990s or something. This one's been done up, but it's just mellowed so nicely. I love cars that are either unrestored or restored a long time ago, because it just mellows so nicely, and obviously restored to a very original condition, because that just looks fantastic like that. That is exactly how it would have looked in period. It's great to see it like that out and about today. MG Metro, the sporty variant of the Metros. Series 2 Land Rover with a tilting windscreen. That's quite a cool variant. Oh, I love these. Little Fiat Topolino, this. I'd guess this is probably early 50s, late 40s. It's the car that came just before the new Fiat 500, so I think this also has a 500cc engine just under there. But when the first Fiat 500s, which are the ones everyone associates with the normal Fiat 500 shape, came out, they were known as the Nuova 500, and this was the old 500. I don't know old in Italian, and this is the one that it replaced. And I've got to say, these look fantastic. A Fiat Topolino is what they're actually known as. Look at that, it looks so nice in black with the gold wheels, sorry not gold, red wheels. Sliding windows, very, very simple and light, just the 2 seats in this one. That's a glorious little car, really, really love that. Really short wheelbase as well, I'm sure that's great fun to drive, really light. That is actually one of my favourites as well. I love these 40s and 50s cars, and we're getting so much 1940s, 1950s stuff out and about here today. Some lovely original badges on the front there. That is just a beautifully presented little car. Really, really love the look of that. This Mark II Escort appears in its very own puzzle. Ford Capri Laser here, looking very, very clean. And here is what I think is an Austin Gypsy. I know there was the Austin Champ as well. I think this is the Austin Gypsy, which is like the British sort of, I guess you could say, competitor to the Jeep. You also had the early Land Rovers, which are being produced in this time. I'd guess this is probably sort of 53, somewhere around there, early 1950s. Got the nice original brass plaques. This looks in superb original condition, this one. But it is post-war, it's not wartime, this. Done up a bit of a war livery with that yellow spot. I think that's like an RAF thing or something. That's a really nice Austin Gypsy, I think, but it might be an Austin Champ, but I always get the two mixed up. A Lotus Evora, and look at that stunning old Elvis Speed 25. Pre-war cars are just the best, aren't they? Absolutely love them. Pairing of Volkswagen Beetles there, but let's have a look at this Elvis. These have a lovely 6-cylinder in them. There are the Beetles. Oh, is this a Marcos? Oh no, it's a Clan. That's it, Clan Clover Alfa Romeo engine in this one. More modern Mercedes and a Subaru. Look at that Elvis though. It's like the Charlesworth Cabriolet or something, I think. There's just a faint murmur of that glorious 6-cylinder engine. I don't know what capacity it is. Maybe like a 3.5 litre, somewhere around there. Might be side valve. Some of these Elvises were overhead valve though, so I think it's a Speed 25 and then a Cabriolet. As you can see, it's like the sort of chauffeur style where the roof can only roll back so that the back passengers are sheltered and that the front driver, perhaps a car to be driven in more than to drive this car, would not be sheltered, unfortunately. Glorious spare wheel on the side there, moulded into the body. So it's a Speed 20 actually, that Elvis, sorry. Speed 25 is a 4.3 straight 6 and this is a 2.5 litre straight 6. It is a Speed 20. That's a glorious car. Looks to be restored on the outside, but I think I spy a very nice and original interior. Look at that. Glorious old dials. Mid-1930s at a guess this car is roughly. That is such a lovely car, that. Really, really just gorgeous. Look at that little window. That's great, isn't it? Peugeot 205 GTI at 1.9, and a glorious little Thames van. That's probably based on the sort of 100E Fords or something similar to that, but it doesn't actually identify as a Ford. Thames is like the sort of commercial variant of Ford, and a great looking retro livery that for Shrewsbury, local livery. What a fantastic light commercial that is. Ford 700, sorry not Ford, what am I on about? Thames 700 weight. That's such a cool little van, that. Really, really just looks so good in its period livery. Sounds like you might need to push the choke in or lower his idle a little bit. But yeah, look at that. Glorious old Thames 700 weight van based on the Ford 100E platform, BMW Estate and a Mustang and plenty more still rolling in. Another MGB GT is parking up. Plenty more classic sports cars rolling in now. Got this MGA in green, followed by the later car. Oh, an MGC actually, not an MGB. At least it's got an MGC bonnet. We've actually seen another MGC Roadster already today, so this is actually the second MGC Roadster. Making another equally lovely 6-cylinder Burble. There's a Scirocco in the background, a lovely old MGTC, and a Triumph TR4. Great looking Rover P6 police car. Perhaps some of the people watching may have been apprehended by those back in their day. If you have, then please let me know. Or if you have any of the stories of any of the cars, new and old, at today's Vehicles of Interest show. Not long now, well, at least not too long, until the parade around the town centre. Bit of a military corner here. We were at the 40s do at Sleep yesterday and we saw plenty of these Jeeps here. These are both genuine wartime Jeeps. Got this very clean and original one, I've got to say. That looks super original, that Jeep there. And this one looks like it's had perhaps a little bit of weight reduction. Got the rad off, got the grill off, and maybe a bit of gearbox there as well. The auto light starter motor's also off, and as you can see, this one looks like it's had a bit of a strip down, certainly in the process here. Lovely old tools in their toolkit as well. I am a sucker for some old tools. If you've seen my sheds, you will know that, and I am a sucker for anything oily rag. That's from 1943, that one. Look at the lovely sort of blackie. Back in the day when it was in the war, you didn't want to sort of show any lights in case planes knew that there was a town there and then they'd bomb there. But that's the lovely original sort of blackout lamp that directs the light downwards so German planes would not bomb you, as they could not see the light from above. And that's a really nice original fitting actually to that Jeep. It just looks to be a little bit lighter perhaps than original. Got a little sort of camp set up here. Bit of cards playing as well. Now I want to have a look at this gorgeous old truck here. This is another wartime truck from America, this one. Now this is either a Dodge or a GMC. I'm not exactly sure which at first. Thankfully the music has stopped for a spell. Got to say though, we're seeing some lovely old tools out and about today. Look at that, a very nice grease gun there. I've actually got a lorry grease gun quite similar to that. And there's an absolutely fantastic little oil pour there, Duckham's NOL. We've got a Duckham's NOL tin back in the shed for motor oil as well. And that's also just as nice as that. Nice, very sturdy foot pump. That is a lovely foot pump there with the tyres. And here's the interior. This truck, it's a straight 6, quite predictably. It's a Dodge or a GMC. I can't figure out which. If anyone can figure it out, then please let me know whether this is a Dodge or a GMC. There's the straight 6 engine, the oil bath air cleaner intake system on that. Very tasty straight 6 engine powering this big old truck. That's so cool, that. Lift up windscreen as well. Yeah, great little setup here. The motor pool. And there's a glorious old Daimler Tourer. X308 Jaguar XJ8 here now. I'm sure a few of you will know we actually just invested in an X308 Jaguar XJ8 as an XJ8 Sport, and that is just a normal XJ8. Just beyond the XJ8, perhaps a modern classic Jaguar, is a proper classic Jaguar. This is an XK150 Jaguar, fixed head coupe. That looks fantastic, doesn't it? A 3.4, I think. It might be a 3.8. Certainly some form of the XK straight 6 engine that are in these, that were used in all sorts of Mark 2s, Mark 5, Mark 7. The XKs, the early XKs, the 120, 140s. That's a very nice XK150 there. Mark 3 MX5, the NC there, the VW Scirocco here. And of course I'm going to be drawn to this one, but it may be pre-one, might just be post-war. I think this is an MGTC, this one. So this is the sort of more conventional MG convertible you see, just a 2-seater. But we saw that YT earlier, which is a really rare 4-seater convertible MG, so that was quite a sight. There's that fantastic old Morris Oxford MO. Another Mini here. There's another, so actually, no, maybe the first one of the day, Triumph TR4. Ooh, I like those carbs. Let's have a look at those carburetors. A very nice pair of twin SUs on there. They look a little bit larger than standard. Maybe a little bit tweaked under the bonnet. This TR4. Another MGC Roadster. MGA on some Mini Light style wheels. P6 Rover 3500S. So that would make this a manual gearbox one, I think. Yep, a manual gearbox matched up to the 3.5 litre Rover V8 in it. So maybe an original police car. Might have been just a recreation. We'll have to see that one. Citroen 2C V6. Most of these cars will be going on the road run later, including this MGB GT and that wonderful little Lotus Elite.
Don't forget those raffle tickets, there's some fantastic prizes.
Of course, this couldn't be a full comprehensive show walk around without looking at some of these fantastic old bikes. This here is an Ariel 3, which is one of the last things that Ariel made. I think this actually tilts at the front. And a lot of people say these things saw the demise of Ariel, who obviously made fantastic looking British bikes in the sort of 50s and pre-war. So the pre-war Ariels are very nice, but these are sort of, I think the last thing Ariel's made is quite an unusual thing. And I won't look at all of them because I know very, very little about motorbikes, but so many of them here today. Gotta be worth a mention. Fantastic pair of slightly older bikes here, probably 50s and 60s in era. This is a 61 Venom Velocette. We used to have a Velocette in front of our fireplace until Mum finally lost patience, and that is a fantastic old Vincent. And I really do like the original Miller tax disc holder. That's a very nice little period accessory on that. Gorgeous Vincent. Just next to this Honda Scrambler is a fantastic looking old Ariel. We just saw the Ariel 3s. This is what a proper Ariel is, and look at the sidecar on that. That is absolutely gorgeous. I know Watsonian made a lot of sidecars. It's got the gorgeous chrome strip all the way around. It's actually a two-seater sidecar as well, and that is a fantastic looking sidecar on that glorious old 50s Ariel. And a load more bikes coming in now. So many of those here today. And here you can draw on a Vauxhall Aguila, and I've sorted myself out a pen, so I'm going to quickly hand over the camera to Mum, and I think you know what we're going to draw, aren't we? Boys, it would have to be this. I think that's a pretty good addition to the little Vauxhall then. Perfect. Fantastic little Austin race car there. Austin 7 Racer, followed up by an Austin 7 Box Saloon. I actually know those two. The two people in the cars. It's a husband and wife team, and the lady in the front actually races Austin 7. She's probably raced that very Austin 7 still at the age of, don't want to offend if she's watching, maybe 70 or 80, which is absolutely brilliant to see. I think she had a bad crash in an Austin 7 a couple of years ago, but I think she's starting to driving again, which is great to see. Wonderful pensioner ragging an Austin 7 race car, but maybe not quite as spiritedly as before her unfortunate crash a couple of years ago.
The same as mine have been. Don't touch the car! Painted and painted and painted. Yes, let me see for you. Don't touch it, please.
You're looking well. Ah, good lad. That's all we can do in it. I got around the short spot.
See you later on. Shoves you back in the seat.
Yeah, I know. When you sit down.
I don't know.
Well, as you can see, all the cars are coming back from their short road run. It's amazing how many people turn out just to see a load of old bangers just going very, very slowly around the town centre, but it's great to see everyone out. You've got the Series 1 Land Rover off. Yes, the cars have stopped the talk and I've turned my mic around. I might turn it around again, we'll have to see. Bit of 806, so many 816 cars actually here today. And the 817 in the form of the 1800 based Austin Kimberly, that was a real rarity. The lightweight's also coming back. Didn't see that BMW E46. It's so easy to miss things with such a massive show like this one, and I think the cars are starting to come to an end. Oh, hello, Daimler. That Vincent there is absolutely gorgeous. Lotus Elite is on the move. Really pretty car. Well, as you can see, now that the parade is done, a lot of people are going. Moggy Mine 1000, Golf GTI, the Recessed Grill, MGB, they're all going now, and I think soon, or fairly soon, we'll join in. The field is actually rapidly emptying. People didn't seem to stay for much more, so I think soon I'll wrap up this full walk around of all the goings on at the Wem Vehicles of Interest, mostly focusing on the classic cars. I'll say that a bit hypocritical, we're here in the MX-5, it's just that Mum doesn't want to drive the Pilot or the pickup or the Standard or the Renault, and I think it'd take a fair bit of persuasion to get her in the 3-ton car transporter. So yeah, we came in the MX-5, but actually quite a few people seem to be interested in it. And if you're interested in the MX-5 or any other cars here, have any history of them, please do let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of this. What I've got to say is a very nice and varied show.
It's the increase in prices though.
So I think I'm going to say goodbye. Make sure to subscribe for weekly automotive uploads, and thanks for watching.